Okay, welcome everyone on this Guten Erev Shabbos Kodesh, the shir is dedicated by A.B. Spry for all of the Chayalim. They should be safe. The hostages should be recovered for Issa Ben Yuta, and in that vein, today's terrorist attack in Yerushalayim hit us very close to home. Our own Bava Kama Daf, Rabbi Kranz, his niece was injured by a bullet. So we're going to learn for his niece, and her name is Shoshana Bracha Bas Rivka Yehudis. Shoshana Bracha Bas Rivka Yehudis. She should have a refuah shalema b'sech she'achel Yisrael. Shimon Klein, Ilan Nishmas, Asher Anshim, and Yehuda, and Gittel Bar Shimon Pinchas, Irving Fishbaum for Issa Ben Rezel. We also want to ask everybody to learn, our good friend Reb Elia Yaffe, his wife, is struggling with very terrible back pain. So we'll learn for Sarah Nechama Bas Miriam. She should have a refuah shalem b'sech she'achel Yisrael. And here, a chaver in the shul, one of our members, Yoel Samet, is in the hospital. We'll learn for Yoel Ben Frumit that he should have a refuah shalem b'sech she'achel Yisrael. We are in the middle of the sugya of whether a person could take the law into his own hands. It's a machlokes whether ovid inish dina lenafshe or loy ovid inish dina lenafshe. So Masav Rav Kahana, which is 4 lines from the bottom of Daf Chav Zayin Amud Beis, 4 lines from the bottom of Daf Chav Zayin Amud Beis. Masav Rav Kahana ben Bagbag Omer. Now we know that Bagbag is because Beis Gimel is hay, and Ben Bagbag was a ger, so he's the child of Avram and Sarah, the beginning of the Jewish people, and Avram had a hay added to his name from Avram to Avraham, and Sarai became Sarah. So Ben Bagbag is the same as Ben Hey. Bag is B'gematria 5, so it's talking about the one who had the child of the 2 that had Hayes added to their name. So Ben Bagbag Omer, Al tikonei s'chatzer chavercha lital eshelcha sheloi b'rishus. Don't go into the courtyard of your friend to take what is yours without permission. Why? Because shematira alav kiganav. Because then you'll have the appearance of a thief. People will talk about you. Look how he went in with stealth to take it. He'll have an appearance of a thief. Ela shvare shinav, rather break his teeth, ve'amalai, and tell him shali ani naitel. In other words, confront him. Don't go in a clandestine manner, but confront him. But you see, it says break his teeth, so you see that you could take the law into your own hand. Amalei. So he said, imach. Imach is a strange phrase. Rashi says, imach bitmiya. This with you, is this a kasha? It's not a kasha. You want to know that here it seems to be that you could take the law into your own hands? Ben Bagbag Yechido. Ben Bagbag is a lone opinion. O pliga Rabbanan alei, and the Rabbanan argue on him. Rabbi Yanai says, no, it's not a kasha at all, because my shvara shinav, what does it mean, break his teeth? It means bedin. It means take him to judgment. It doesn't mean take the matter into your own hand, but bring him to court and over there you'll knock his teeth out. In other words, you'll take the power away from him. Says the Gemara, well, but if that's pshat, if so, it shouldn't say ve'emer loy, that he tells him, I'm taking what it's mine. The dayanim will tell him, so it should be plural. V'aimrim loy mibayle. It should say they tell him, and it shouldn't say shaliani naitel, because he's not doing the one that's talking. It's the dayanim that's doing the talking, so they should say shalayu naitel, that he could take what is his. Mibayle. So the Gemara says kasha. You're right. That's not such a. That answer is a difficult answer to say that shvara shinov means that you should do it in court. Toshma, shor sha'ala al gabe chaveira. Now over here, what happened is that and I was very remiss welcoming everyone. So let's welcome in Stephen Holtzman, and we have a newcomer, Yitzi Fuchs. It's nice to have you. It's a real pleasure, an honor. Irving Fishbaum, Rabbi Kranz. Who is that? Nachman Chapler on his way. Mel Zachter, Eddie Chazan, Michael, Mo Kushner. Good to have you back, Mo. Philippe has shown up finally, with of course a dozen notes. Shimon Klein, Shalom Fogel, Baruch Ian, Avi Amen, Dr. Black, Ben Zion Cohn, Ruvain Pollack, Berish Gesseman, Ilya Shutman, Moshe Lehman, Naftali Javelin, Menachem Umansky, Yitzi Muller, Ruvain Guy, A. Barbach, Pesach Siegelman. Here in Shul we are graced with Gedalia Engel, Reb Kramer, Rich Lenner, Yitzhak Buchinger, Reb Avram Schenkman, Ruvain Shan, Reb Shloima. Wonderful to have all of you. David Helfgott on Kol HaLashon. So now the Gemara says, Tojma, Shar, Sha'ala al gabe chaveiroi lahargai. What happened is that Shalom's shar went on top of Shimon's shar to kill him. Joined now by Aaron Swade and Shelley Zeitlin. It's 29 Zoomers, and Mark and Marshall are not here yet. Wow, that's really interesting. So anyway, what happened is that Shalom's shar climbed on top of Shimon's shar to kill him. So what does Shimon do? Shimon is not going to take this. What's that? Shimon is not going to take that sitting. So so Shimon takes his shar, and he pulls it out from under Shalom's shar. V'nafal el yonames, and the Shalom shar falls down. Potter. So you noticed that Shimon took the law into his own hands by pulling out his shar. Now, we said that everybody holds that you're allowed to do it when there's a loss. But the Gemara says, my lav, it's talking about Bemuad, where Shalom Shah was a Muad. So anyway, Shimon would get full recompense because a Muad pays Nezek Shalom. So therefore there was no loss. My lav Bemuad, the Lekap Seder. Says, Loi, but Tam, Shalom Shah was a Tam. So if Shimon didn't pull out his shar, he would only get half recompense. He would only get the Chatzi Nezek, the Ikapseda. So Iachi Yema Seifa, look at the Seifa, Dochfa Elyon Omeis. If Shimon, instead of slipping out his shar from underneath, he pushed the top one and it died, Chayiv. Says the Gemara, but why? The Ibatam Amai Chayiv. If it was a tam and Shimon stood to lose, why can't he push it off? Says the Gemara, you can't take a harsher action if you could have done it without damaging. Since he had the option to pull it out his shar from underneath, and he pushed Shalom Shar, that's why he's liable. Shahayaloi l'shamta, he should have pulled it out from underneath, v'loi shamta. It's like, if you could shoot him in the legs, you can't shoot him in the heart. Tajma.
Rabbi, question on that. The first case, he pulled his shore out. The other shore died, and so he's chayav because of something like that. So
no, he's not. No, he's not chayav.
But it seems like pulling the shore out from the bottom or pushing one on top, there's still equal possibility.
No, they're not equal.
No? Okay.
No, pushing it off is a direct act of attack. Pulling your shor out, you're not even touching Shalom Shar. Says the Gemara, Toshma, Hamamalei chotzer chaveiroi, kadei yayin v'kadei shemen. Here, I can't even understand why Shelley would do this. That's probably why he's hiding behind that fake picture over there. But Shelley fills up Aaron's courtyard full of bitches. And Aaron has to get to his house. So Amamalei chotzer chaveiroi kadei yayin v'kadei shemen. If Shelley fills up
That is a good one. It's very expensive.
If Shelley fills up Aaron's courtyard with jugs of wine and jugs of oil, Bala Chotzer, Aaron could be Meshaber v'yotze. He could break and enter, Meshaber v'nichnas, and break and leave, and break and enter. Now, so you'll say, he's taking the law into his own hands. So you'll say, as Taisus asks, well, of course, it's B'makom Hefsid. Otherwise, how is he going to get into his house? So Taisus says, from the fact that it uses the lashon Meshaber Yotze, Meshaber v'nichnas, it means as he's walking back and forth, even though he already made a path, he doesn't have to be so careful, and he could keep on breaking back and forth. So you see, a person could do din l'nafshei. He could do a din for himself. Says the Gemara, no. Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, Meshaber v'yotze lebezdin. He could break his way out to go to the bezdin, and then if Shelley makes a claim, it's not your courtyard, it's my courtyard. Then Meshaber v'nichnas, he could break it and come back in, l'havi zechi yosef, in order to get proof that it's his courtyard. So still we don't have a raya that ovid inish dina l'nafshe. Tajma, now this is an interesting thing. We know that when a slave works for 6 years, an Eved Ivri, after 6 years he goes free. If he likes his Shifcha Kananis that he's married to, or he likes his cushy position, he likes people taking care of him, he could choose to stay till Yovel and have his ear pierced at the door with an awl, and he's an Eved until Yovel. So now, what happens, what happens, this is a problem, sometimes you can't get people out. People rent the apartment, you can't get them out of the apartment. All right, so here, the Eved likes it so much, Yovel comes and he can't get rid of them. He doesn't want to leave. He doesn't want to leave. Happens sometimes, after Shachris on Shabbos. People don't want to get up and leave. You believe that?
I've seen it.
I have a bridge to sell you. Most of the time, people are folding up their talesim already by Enkelikeinu. So anyway, Tashma, Minayin Lenirza, how do we know that an Eved that had his ear pierced with the awl, Shekalu lo yamav, it's already Yovel, V'rabbi Misarav boilotzes, and the master is pushing him to get out, V'chavo v'asa b'chabura, and in the process of trying to push him out of his house, he hits him, and he makes a wound. How do you know Shu Potter? He says, come on, I need the room. My kids are coming for Hanukkah. Out! And that man doesn't want to leave, and he's pushing him, and he makes a wound. How do you know he's Potter? So it's interesting. The Gemara Darshan's a pasuk. Talmud Leimer, it's an interesting drasha, the pasuk. This is taking the pasuk entirely out of context. And Dr. Guy is now our 30th Zoomer of the evening. 30th, and by the way, that's a 30th Zoomer without Shimon Deer, without Marshall Castle, without Mark Frankel. There's a lot, there are more people, without A.B. Spry. But anyway, so what's the pasuk? Now, literally, this pasuk means that somebody who was exiled into the Arei Miklat, you can't take from him instead a ransom that he should be able to return home and not go to the Arei Miklat. That's the simple pshat in the pasuk. But the Gemara now takes it completely out of context, and it says that lo yisikhu, you shouldn't take payment from lo shuv, from a person who wants to return and stay in the house, or don't take payment from someone that's supposed to return to his family, right? And you hurt him, so you can't take payment for that. Here he's supposed to return to his family and leave, and he didn't leave, and you pushed him, and you hurt him, you can't take payment from that. So the Gemara says, so you see that, you see over here that a person could take the matters into his own hand. Says the Gemara, it's an Eved that's a thief. So it's a matter of a hefsid, because if he stays around, he's going to rob you. So all of a sudden, what about the last 50 years? The last 50 years, he wasn't a problem. Until now, he didn't steal, and now he steals. So the Gemara says, until now, he was your servant, and he was afraid of you, because you were his master. But now that you're not his master anymore, he doesn't have fear. Hashta, now that he's free, he he's not afraid of you. Rav Nachman Yitzchak says something else. Be'eved shemosel Rabbi Shivcha Kananis. It's an Eved that the master gave him a Shivcha Kananis. And that's why he's allowed to push him out, because until now he was allowed to live with the Shivcha. Because that's the din, that an Eved Ivri is allowed to live with a Shivcha. It's a special dispensation. But now that Yovel arrives and he's a free man, he's not allowed to live with the Shivcha anymore. And that's why he's allowed to push him out. So now the Gemara says, and this is how this whole sigur gets in, it brings a raya from our Mishnah. Toshma, ha'maniach hasakad b'rishus harabim. What happened over here is that Michael left a pitcher in the Rishus Harabim, and Mel came and stumbled on it, Vishibra, and broke it, Potter. Now we said that it's talking about where Michael filled the whole Rishus Harabim with pitchers. And therefore, it's only because Mel stumbled on it and broke it that he's Potter. Taima deniskoba, hashibra, but if he broke it in order to get through the Rishus Harabim, so he took the din into his own hands, chayiv. So you see, you're not allowed to take the din into your own hands. So the Gemara says, no. Even if a male stepped on it deliberately, he'd be potter. Amra Azvid Mishmei de Rava Hu Adin Afilu Shavra. V'haydid Tani Niskal. Oh, that's because of the Sefer. Aidi de Kabbalah Misnei Sefer Im Hizik. Im Huzak. If Mel hurt himself. Bal Chav Yischayev, then Michael is Chayev for leaving his pitcher in the street. Chayev Niska, that's only if Mel stumbled and hurt himself. The Dafka Niska, Aval Shiba like, but if he broke it, that's different, because if he broke it, then he hurt himself. Aval Shiba like, who Azik Nafshay, he hurt himself. So therefore, Ktani Reisha Niskal, even since the Sefer is limited to the case of Niskal, so that's why it says in the Reisha Niskal. So now, the Gemara brings down the famous case of a woman whose husband was being attacked by an assailant. It says that in the event that she's Hirzik b'mavushav, she holds on to his private parts, right? It says, v'katsoisa eskapa. Now, the pasuk says we cut off her hand. Now, of course, it doesn't mean literally we cut off her hand, right? It means that she has to pay for what she did, for attacking him and hurting him. The Katai says, Kappa Mammon. Now why? She was taking the matter into her own hands and protecting her husband. So why does she have to pay? So the Gemara says, and this is specifically that she has to pay for the embarrassment of Hechazika b'mavushav, that she grabbed him in his private place. So she has to pay for the humiliation. So the Gemara says, "My lav b'she'eni yachol lahatzal ayidei davara." She couldn't have saved her husband in any other way. So if she couldn't have saved her husband in any other way, she went for a vulnerable place in the man's body. She was a skilled fighter, and she knew where to attack him, right? So then why should she be chayiv to pay? It must be that loy avid inish dina l'nafshay. Says in her loy she yachol lahatzal ayidei davara. She could have grabbed him in a different place. And since she grabbed him over there and caused extra humiliation, she's chayiv. So the Gemara says, you mean to say, what you're indicating, if she had no other option, she would be ptura. So then, ihachi aditani sefer. The sefer says, when is it pater? Visholcha yada, only if she extends her hand. Prat l'shliach bezdin. A shliach bezdin, an agent of the court, if the agent of the court causes humiliation, he's pater. The agent of the court, in the process of doing the duties of the court, he's pater. Why did we have to shift for a case of ptur to an agent of the court, lift like v'lisnei b'dida, and say that she's pater if she couldn't save her husband in any other way? When it could have been done in a different way. Says where you're right. Hachinami kama. That's the intent. Where does she have to pay for the humiliation? Where she could have saved him in a different way. But if she couldn't have saved him in a different way, then nasa yoda kishliach bezdin. Her hand is like an agent of bezdin, and she's ptura, and she's pater. So it's both true. Tajma, a new case. Tajma. Yitzhak, why don't you make yourself a hot drink? Make yourself something. We have choices. You could even add some schnapps into it.
We have bourbon.
Huh?
We have bourbon.
Oh, good. No, Marshall would have known. He would have been here. Oh, look at that. Nachman already arrived home. He was started in the car and he's already home. Good for you, Nachman. So Tajma, another case. Harishoisa derech harabim oiveres b'seich sadeyu. Here you have a situation where a public path is passing through Nachman's field. Now Nachman, he doesn't like that the path passes right through his field, so he diverts it to the side. Nitola v'nosan lahem min atzad. He diverts it, he takes the path in the middle, and instead makes an exchange and gives them a path on the side. Mashe nosan nosan, what he gave was given, v'shaloi lo higiyu, but he doesn't get back the path in the middle. Now, v'i amrit ovid inish dinu l'nafshei, if a person could take the law in his own hand, well, why? The Gemara assumes that the switch is a good switch. He gave them an equal path. Then linkit pizra, he should take a club, v'leisim, and sit by the original path in the middle and stop people from going on. Amar Azid mishmei derava, you know why? Gezeira shema yitin lahem derech akalos. We're afraid to allow a person to make a switch because he might give an inferior exchange. He might give a path that's crooked. This is talking about in a case where the path that he gave, the exchange, was crooked. Rav Ashi says, no, you could never give a path that will be just the same. Because when you shift it to the side, it's going to be closer to some neighbors, but further for other neighbors. So it's not a fair exchange, because, the people that live on the other side, it's going to be further for them. The kol min atzad, whenever you shift it to the side, derech hakalosenu, it's a circuitous route for some people, because kroivel is it's closer to the people on one side, but rechaykel is further for the people on the other side. Says the Gemara, but if that's the case, so then why do we say that the exchange is also the public's? Why do we say that he doesn't keep what is his? He should keep the second path. Okay, the first path he can't stop, so then the second one shouldn't go to the public. Keep your original path in the middle, and give me back the new path. Says the Gemara, basically, once the public takes possession of something, it belongs to the public. Mishum de Rabbi Yehuda. Am Rabbi Yehuda meitzer she'erzik by Rabbim. Around the field, they used to put on the perimeter around the field a raised border. If the public started using it and trod upon it, so it's not raised anymore, Meitzer she'ilzik by Rabbim, the border, if the Rabbim already made a ma'aseh chazaka, they trod upon it and they leveled it for walking, also the calculate, you can't take it away from them. That's the rule, that once the Rabbim takes a hold of something, so since the second path that he gave them in an exchange, they already started using, he can't take it back. No backsies. Tajma, well, listen to this case. Balabaya sheniach peya mitzad echad. Ruvain left peya in the right corner of his field. Ubo aniyim v'not l'mitzad achar. Aniyim took the peya from the left side of the field. Zev is peya. Both corners are peya. Now the Gemara says, if Reuven could take the din in his own hand, he already gave the peya on the left side. Why can't he stand by with a club on the right side and tell them to get out of there? Linket Pizra Velasev. Let him sit on the right corner with a club and say, look, I already gave. Get out of here. Beat it. Says Gemara, you're right. You could do that. What it means, says Zepeya, is that from the right corner, Ruvain also does not have to give Meiser. Because since initially he declared it Peya, he was Mafkarit. Now that they took back on the left side, the right side now reverts back to him, but it was originally Peya. And once it was originally Hefker. And once it's originally Hefker, it's part for Meiser. And that's the meaning of Zepeya. Amarava, my Zepeya, lepoitron min Meiser, to exempt it from Meiser. Kedetanya, hamafkir es karmoi, if somebody renounces his vineyard, v'hishkim b'baykeru b'tzarai, and he gets up in the morning and he harvests it, so even though property of Hefker is not chayiv in matnas aniyim, there's no matnas aniyim property of Hefker, but we learn out because it says an extra tazoiv. And it says Tazoiv Yisera, that if you're mafkarid and take it back, you still have to give the matnas aniyim, but you don't have to give meiser. So here where Ruvain declared the payah on the right payah, even though they took on the left, and therefore now he could repossess the payah on the right, it's part of a meiser. Kedetanya mafkir is karma. If somebody renounces his vineyard, b'hishkim abayker b'tzarai, then he gets up in the morning and vintages it. He takes it back. Chayiv beperet. He's chayiv peret are the grapes that fall off that you have to leave for the poor. Oilos are the weak clusters. Uveshikha, the forgotten sheaves. Ubepeah in the corner. But upater min meiser. So you see, that which was even temporarily hefker is pater for meiser. Okay, now just getting underway. Really, it's not just getting underway. We finished already a very big Amud. But what I mean that just getting underway, I had thought, that's why it says, Rabbi Yismach Shavas B'levish, Ba'atzas Hashem Hisakim. I had thought that I was doing a chok tonight. But I'm not doing a chok. I did do already 6 of the 8 of the next chok, so it's coming. It's looming soon, maybe Matzah Shabbos, which would be nice to do at Matzah Shabbos. But tonight we have, after the shir, we have for the Shabbos table. So that's what we have on the schedule for tonight. It's only open to those that will not be in fairways for Shabbos, because I'll say some of the things that I say for the Shabbos table, I'll speak about sometime over Shabbos. So people that will be here on Shabbos should not partake in it, but everybody else is welcome. That's why I did the Mishnah Yomis already, and we welcome in Richard Rosenzweig, Sandy Grunfeld, Dov Nagin joining us.
Is that set in stone?
What?
That if you're going to be here for Shabbos, that we can't stay for the shir?
I mean, it's not set in stone. The only thing is once you hear it once, it depends on your feeling. If you want to hear it once and you feel comfortable to hear it again, you're welcome to stay. But is that Ellie? Shelley.
That is Usher Rovinsky.
Oh.
This is Stephen's grandson.
Oh, well, welcome, Usher. It's good to have you. Now.
And this is Simcha.
Mayor.
Mayor. Okay, Mayor.
Will you get your mayors straight?
Right, I know. I got my Simcha and my Mayor confused.
Yeah.
And it's Yehuda's bar mitzvah. Go figure.
Okay, Baruch Hashem. Now, Nishbara Kadoi B'Rishus HaRabim. Now here what happens over here is that Yitzi Fuchs, his pitcher breaks in the Rishus HaRabim. V'hochlak echad b'mayim. And Rabbi Kranz slips on the water, or he got injured from a shard from the pitcher, so chayiv, Yitzi is chayiv. Rabbi Yehuda Omer b'miskaven chayiv, if there was intent, then Yitzi is chayiv. Be'ena miskaven potter. Now we'll see that the Gemara suggests that this means that if Yitzi had intent to take it down from his shoulder, and he's tripped and it fell, so there we hold him accountable because tripping is considered negligence. But if he didn't have intent, but rather he was holding it by the handle and it just disintegrated, so it was an einus, so then he's potter. But we'll talk about this. We'll talk about this in detail. This next Gemara discusses interesting variables. You see, it's not so simple that if Philippe has a pit in the Rishus Harabim and Chatzkel's animal falls in the pit and hurts himself on the ground in the pit, it's not so simple that Philippe is chayiv. Because the ground is not his. The ground is the ground of Rishus Harabim. Yeah, because of Philippe's pit, he hit himself on the ground. That's a grumma. 1 second. That's not so simple.
Where's the bar?
And Rishus Harabim.
How is it mine then?
Because you dug it.
Well, I don't own it. I mean, I made it, but...
You're responsible for it.
All right.
You dug it.
All right.
But there's an opinion that the only reason why he's chayiv is because the shor hurt himself in the foul ear that was in that pit. This foul ear, it's called hevel, this foul ear. And that Felipe made by digging the pit. But
released it, like sulfur
but the ground was there from before. So we're going to discuss that variable. So let's see the Gemara inside. It's a very interesting piece of Gemara. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Rav. Rabbi Yehuda says in the name of Rav, when we say that, when we say that Yitzi, his pitcher broke, and Rabbi Kranz got damaged, Loishanu elashitinfu kelav b'mayim. What happened is that the water was released from the pitcher. The water was released from the pitcher, and it was dirty water, and it dirtied Rabbi Kranz's $700 Seville Row suit. Aval hu atzmai potter. But if he himself got injured, he would be potter. Why? Now, first of all, there's a reason to say potter because it says shar v'lo adam. That bar is not chayav for adam, but the Gemara says a different reason. Aval hu atzmai potter, because like we said, karka oila meziktai. When Rabbi Kranz tripped and stumbled on the broken pitcher, and he fell on the ground, it was the ground of 13th Avenue that damaged him. If it's a pit, so then there's the hevel that was created, the dank, foul odor that was created by Philippe. But if he trips and he hits himself and bumps his head on the ground, that's not Yitzi's ground. That's the ground of the Rosh Hashanah. Karka Olam is Iktar. So Ki Amri say Kamei de Shmuel. When this was said before Shmuel, Amali, he said to me, Michtei avnoi v'sakinoi u'masoi. Your stone, or your knife, or your backpack that you left in the Rosh Hashanah and someone hurts himself, mibayrei lamanu. You learn it out from Bar. V'kulan ani koirabem, and by all of them I learn shar v'lo yadam, an axe and not a man, chamar v'lo kelim, a donkey and not utensils. So why should he be chayiv for damaging Rabbi Kranz's utensils? This obstacle that was in the Rosh Hashanah that Yitzi caused Rabbi Kranz's clothing to get ruined. Well, we learn out obstacles from Bar, and by Bar the din is chamar v'lo kelim. Now, v'hani mili, where do we say? Shar v'lo adam, v'hani mili linyan katala. That's only if a human dies. Avalinyan nizakin, if a human hurts himself, adam chayiv v'kelim p'turin. For utensils, you're potter. You see, because utensils don't get injured. When a utensil breaks, that's its death. Shvirasan zui misasan. So therefore, when his Seville rose suit got ruined, that you should be potter from Bar for that. So he says that can't be pshat. Rav counters, that's only hani miliecha da'afkarinu. That's only if you renounced your right from the Bar. Aval heicha deloy afkarinu, but when you didn't renounce your right, and over here it's talking about that Yitzi didn't renounce his right from his property, then memaynayu, it's his money, and you're chayiv because it's like shar. And there you're chayiv even for kalim. Now, so therefore, just to clarify, so according to Shmuel, what's pshat in the Mishnah? In Shmuel, the pshat in the Mishnah is Yitzi's pitcher broke, and Rabbi Kranz hurt himself on the shards, and even though it says shar v'lo adam, that's only death, but injury you are chayav for bar, and that's the pshat. Now, Masav Rabbi Ishia, so now the Gemara is going to ask from something that doesn't seem to fit according to anybody. It's going to give us a bit of a problem. Masav Rabbi Ishia, v'nafal shama shar oy chamar, and there falls into the bar an axe or a donkey. And we darshan shar v'lo adam, an axe and not a man, chamar v'lo kelim. Mikan amru, from here we say, nafal l'seicha shar v'kelav, if there falls into a bar axe with his saddle, v'nishtabru, and the kelim break, chamar v'kel, the donkey and its utensils, v'niskaru, chayiv ala behema, because bar is chayiv on an animal, or potter ala kelim, and you're exempt for the utensils. Right. So here we say clearly that that you're potter in a bar for the utensils. Now, holamazeh doima, what is this similar to? La'avnoi v'sakina yumasai. This is similar to his rock, to his knife, or his backpack, shenichon b'rishus harabim v'zikai, and he left it in the rishus harabim, and it caused damage. So the Gemara says, what are you doing? You're comparing bar to avnai sakinai masai. The Torah says bar. Avnai sakinai masai is learned out from bar. Don't learn out bar from avnai sakinai masai. So the Gemara says, Adrabah, ma doimel lezeh. It should say, what is similar to bar? Ela mai doimel lezeh. What is similar to the daraisa of a pit? Avnai sakinai masai shenichu b'rishus harabim v'ziku. That was left in the rishus harabim and did damage. So now the Gemara says, lefikach im hetiach tzluchisai be'evan. If one's jug got smashed on a rock, chayiv. Now, you notice that here we just had a big stira. The beginning of the brisa says that if the saddle of the ox or the backpack of the donkey rips, you're chayiv for the animal, you're potter on the utensils, on the saddle, on the backpack. And here it says that if a jug smashes against a rock, you're chayiv. So in the Reish it says potter, and here it says chayiv. But before we get to the internal contradiction, the Gemara says we're going to have a problem over here, both according to Rav and according to Shmuel. Remember, Rav wanted to say that it's really a little bit. It's like the ratio of the sefer, because here it says halomah zeh doima. What ma doima lezeh? What is similar to a bar? Avnei sakina masai. But Rav says avnei sakina masai is not bar. It's like shar. Because it's yours, so it's like shar. So the Gemara says, Reisha, it's really Reisha of the Sefer, but the Gemara says, Reisha kashal Rav. The Reisha is shver like Rav, because it says that Avnei Sakina Maso is like a pit. He says that, according to Rav, he said that when you own it, it's considered like shar. The Sefer Kasher l'Shmuel, because the Sefer that the Sefer that says that if a keli damages itself on the rock is chayiv, so then that means it's like shar. Because if it's like bar, then you should be pater for the keli, because it says chamor v'lo kelim. So the Gemara says, okay, obviously, we're going to have to do some fancy explaining over here, because there's an internal contradiction, as I pointed out to you. There's an internal contradiction over here. Reisha potter, the Reisha says when the chamor falls in, the shar falls in, you're potter on the kelim. The Sefer Chayiv, and in the Sefer it says that if it hits the rock, the keli, you are Chayiv. El Rav metaretz l'tamei, v'Shmuel metaretz l'tamei. Rav metaretz l'tamei, he makes a simple distinction. It depends if it's yours or you were mafker it. V'amedvam amurim, that you're potter on the kelim of the chamor, on the kelim of the shar. That's Geshif Kiran, when you renounced ownership. If you renounced ownership, so then we say Chamor v'lo Kelim. Avaloyev Kiran, but if you still own the backpack, if you still own the knife, Chayiv, because then it has a din of shar. Lafika chetiach tzlichisa be'evan, if the pitcher bangs against a boulder that you still own, Chayiv. V'Shmuel matar tzlatamei. This is going to take a little bit more fancy footwork. Shmuel explains it according to his reasoning. Hashta da omrit avnoi sakina masai. Kebayroi dami. Now that you say that Evan, Sakin, and Maso has a din of bar and not a din of shar. Oh, if you hold like Rabbi Yehuda, who holds Kalim is chayiv bar, then you be chayiv. In other words, the Reisha that says it's potter, that's going according to the Rabbanan that say chamor v'loy Kalim. The Rabbi Yehuda, the mechayiv al niskei Kalim bar, then lefika chiticha itzlichisa be'evan, if the jug bangs against a rock, then chayiv. Amar Rav Elazar, lo yishanu ela sheniskal be'evan v'noshev be'evan. That's only if the person trips on the rock and bangs himself on the rock. Then Yitzi is chayiv. Aval niskal be'karka, but if he trips on the ground, v'noshev be'evan, and bangs himself on the rock, potter. Why? Because the initial trip was not caused by Yitzi. So this that we say, that even though the initial trip was not caused by Yitzi, Yitzi is off the hook. This is not like Reb Nosson. Reb Nosson says later in the Masechta that if Rich's animal pushes Chatzkel into Avram's bar, so the Rabbanan say that Avram is off the hook. Rich has to pay. Rab Nosson says if Rich's animal was a tam, so Rich only pays the Chatzi Nezek, so Avram has to pay the other damage because he's also responsible because the damage was in his bar. So the fact that we say that if he trips and then he hits himself on Yitzi's rock, he's off the hook, that's not like Rab Nosson. Because you see there, Rab Nosson holds that even though Rich's animal pushed him in the bar, otherwise he might not have gone into the bar, still, if there's left over after Rich is Chatzi Nezek, then Avram has to pay. And that's what the Gemara says over here, Deloik Rab Nosson. Don't say it's only where he tripped on the stone and banged his head. On the stone he's chayiv. But if he trips on the ground and hits his head with the stone potter, no. Even if he tripped on the ground and hit his head on Yitzi's stone, chayiv command Reb Nosson. That's like the Shita of Reb Nosson, who says that in the event that Rich's animal pushed Chatzkel's shar into Avram's bar, if Rich's animal's a tam and he only pays the Chatzi Nezek, Avram has to pay the other Chatzi Nezek. Now, Motzi Shabbos, Shir is 7:45 earlier. We don't have to be up so late.